Hello there, people of the internet. Shout out to GOA and FPC. We need them now more than ever. I wanted to make this video because I have seen on numerous occasions people, go ahead and turn these down, my god, I can hear myself way louder than I normally speak, so that's what my voice sounds like. But I have seen numerous occasions where people will inevitably take a new shooter out to the range who doesn't really know what to expect, and they'll give them some high power, high caliber firearm, and this new shooter is going to hurt themselves or drop the gun or something that'll get the experienced shooter, 5 seconds worth of laughter. And then the new shooter will no longer want to be a new shooter, and they're never going to, touch another gun again, or they're going to go home with a bloody nose, all because this guy was being a jerk. Don't be one of those kind of people. If you're going to take a new shooter out to the range, do not be one of the kind of guys to hand, your 120-pound girlfriend a 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum and be like, no, it'll be fine, you'll be fine, I promise. You'll be sleeping on the couch. And more importantly, we will not have another enthusiast for the gun community. The goal for the gun community shouldn't be to get people hurt because we think it's funny. The goal for the gun community should be to get these other people excited about shooting guns and realize the amount of fun that the sport can bring. And that's not something that's going to happen if we give them, a high caliber round to start them off with when they have zero experience, just to watch them get hurt. Now first, before you give them a gun, you're going to teach them the fundamentals. Don't aim the gun in a direction that isn't safe. Keep your booger hook off the bang maker. Make sure there's no ammunition inside the firearm until you're actually ready to use it. A lot of people will argue with me on that one, saying that they keep ammunition in their defensive firearm, just to be able to use it for defensive purposes. That's fine. That firearm is currently in use. It is being used for defensive purposes. But if you have a gun that you're not using for defensive purposes, keep it unloaded just for safety precautions. Now, I always recommend some sort of light recoiling rifle or handgun or whatever it is that you're going to be teaching them with. Some sort of light recoiling, easy to shoot firearm for your newer shooters, as opposed to where a lot of people will give them granddad's hunting rifle chambered in 30-06 that's been sporterized and weighs about 4.5 pounds, and you give it to your 120-pound girlfriend and she is thrown back by it. Or you give her a 12 gauge that has 1-ounce slugs in it or something like that. Do not do that. That's a great way to get somebody hurt, or at the very best case scenario, make it to where that these people never want to shoot it again. And we need as many people inside of this community as possible, because this community is under attack. So whatever firearm it is that you're going to train them on, this right here would be a very excellent one. This is a Ruger Mini 14 chambered in 223. 223 is a very, very light recoiling round. Very accurate out to most distances that people are going to be shooting at, especially if you are a new shooter. You're not going to be shooting beyond the capabilities of a 223. But after you teach them the fundamental safety precautions, teach them the fundamentals on how the firearm actually works, this is your ammunition inside of your magazine. You insert the magazine into said firearm. You got to make sure that you chamber around. You got to put a round from the magazine into the back of the barrel. That's the best way that I explain it. And to do that, you have some sort of manual operating system. But after that, the gun operates itself. You pull the trigger, it goes bang, and it sends a lead projectile downrange. In this particular case, at about 3,200 feet per second. Now, that lead projectile going downrange is very fast, very dangerous, it is something that you do not want to send at something that you do not intend on destroying. So you gotta make sure that you emphasize that it is dangerous, but it is safe when used safely, just like basically everything else in the world. Dangerous things can be dangerous, but when used safely, the danger is dramatically minimized. One of the biggest problems that I have with new shooters whenever I bring them out to the range is whenever they're shooting, if they get a malfunction or they run out of ammunition or they have a question or something, they'll turn the gun like this to ask somebody. Make sure that you emphasize that if they have question, malfunction, stoppage, if they have any reason that they're not going to be shooting, make sure that they know to continue to either aim the gun like that or aim the gun at the ground. I have had several occasions with new shooters flag me, and I mean, it is definitely not something that you want happening, but it's something that can be expected unless you really emphasize that that muzzle needs to be aiming in a safe direction at all times. After you teach them the fundamentals on how to properly and safely use the firearm, I always like to teach people how firearms actually work. Like whenever you get a new shooter and, you know, all they know is the media AR-15 or AK-47 scary black rifle that will decimate absolutely everything in front of it, I teach them how it actually works. You know, they're fine with hammer-fired handguns, and I teach them that other than a gas operating system and a turning bolt, it basically operates fundamentally the same way. I take the AR apart, I show them the hammer, I show them the bolt carrier group, how it operates like the slide on a handgun, and the only thing that changes is the fact that there's a gas system that pushes that slide carrier back as opposed to a handgun which operates off of recoil. I show them the locking system and how it is a different locking system, but fundamentally it works the same way, and it really opens up a lot of eyes, or a lot of different perspectives from these eyes who have absolutely zero experience with these different things. I teach them how simple the mechanics are and how it is not the terrifying monstrosity that people make it out to be. And a lot of times I will use a rifle like this, or like the SKS, chambered in the same rounds that these scarier rifles are chambered in. And I'll be like, well, if you feel comfortable shooting this, but you feel comfortable, you know, running an AR-15. And they're like, absolutely not. There's no way I'd ever run that. And then I'm like, well, you literally just ran the same exact ammo. It does the same exact thing. I love doing that with new shooters because it, like I said, it really opens up their eyes. Now this right here, not necessarily just a rifle for new shooters. I mean, I'm quite experienced with shooting, as you could probably see from my channel. I have several hundred videos at this point. I think I'm starting to approach the 500 video mark, as a matter of fact. I have a lot of experience with shooting, but I still have a lot of fun firing this Mini 14. This right here might be one of my favorite semi-automatics to fire. It's hard to really say why. I just like the way that it feels. There's better practical firearms, there's better mechanical systems that are less exposed or more tolerances. There's better everything than the Mini 14. But I like the Mini 14, and it's accurate, and it's comfortable, and I can do follow-up shots really, really well with it. Alright, I'm just gonna go for the steel right quick, because I'm out here on the range and I have some ammunition for this thing. Alright. Mini 14, man. You can't go wrong with teaching someone on a Mini 14. I learned how to shoot. Technically, I learned with a single shot 410. I learned the basic fundamentals, but I learned how to actually shoot with a Mosin Nagant. And I was one who wanted to learn how to shoot. That's why the Mosin Nagant with its harsh recoil and concussive blast didn't really bother me. But if you have someone who's kind of skeptical on it, don't be the kind of guy to give them something that's going to completely make up their mind on the subject in a negative way. Give them something that is going to completely make up their mind in a positive way, like this thing right here. You take this right here, you set up some water jugs out in a safe shooting environment like this right here, or maybe some steel targets, just a light recoiling gun that will blow something up, and you give it to someone who is new at shooting and they're gonna fall in love with it, and that is exactly what we want to do. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, check clear. Mostly I just wanted to come out today and shoot some 223. I was just in the mood for some 223 today. Today was a 223 kind of day, light recoil, shooting it at the steel. It just, every time 223 might be one of my favorite rounds to fire. 7.62 by 39 is my go-to round, just because it's more powerful and I cannot shoot beyond its capabilities. But 223 is just such a pleasurable, absolutely pleasurable round to shoot. But I still figured I'd go ahead and make a video on this today because I need to make videos. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, helps out with the algorithm. Description down below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go ahead and go check that out. My phone is consistently vibrating in my pocket, so I'm going to go ahead and see who wants my attention so desperately. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'm going to grab some more ammunition and probably do some more range running. Thanks for watching, folks. Remember, shout out to GOA and FPC. Donate, or at least use them to contact your representatives and let them know to protect the Constitution and follow the oath that they took whenever they joined office. All right, bye guys. I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.